quite a few people I've talked to have been interested in how I put together a 2-meter amateur radio mobile setup on my motorcycle. I can actually use it while I'm in motion and talk to people while on the road. So I figured I'd make a video to basically show you how I did it. So this is the Victim. It's a 1982 Honda Silverwing, not a Goldwing, but a Silverwing GL 500 Interstate. The interstate part means it has all this luggage on the back. And the first thing you notice, of course, is this antenna on the back. Seems like a good place to begin. This is a half-wave vertical, not a quarter wave, not a 5/8 wave, which are typically favored in mobile installations. The problem with a motorcycle is, unlike a car roof or a trunk, it doesn't really provide a ground plane, and a quarter or 5/8 wave want a ground plane in order for the antenna to work well. But a half wave, while it certainly won't hurt to have a ground plane, doesn't require one either. So I chose a half wave to go on the bike to kind of work around that problem. Standard antenna, NMO mount, and the bracket here is the type normally intended to clamp onto like the mirror of a big rig or something like that. Instead, I use it to clamp around this chrome bar right here, and it's rock solid, not going anywhere. In fact, you can even see right here the metal is ever so slightly bent with the clamping force around it, which isn't a bad thing, but the thing's not going to budge. So even going down the interstate, this thing's on here nice and solid. So the coax runs from the bracket up underneath the taillight forward, all the way underneath all this stuff. Yes, my seat's in bad shape. Comes out up here and goes into the radio here in this handy little pocket. The radio I'm using is the venerable Radio Shack HTX-202. You can see I do not have the battery pack attached. That makes it a little bit smaller. Also, this particular radio doesn't like running on external power and having a battery attached at the same time. It tends to fry things inside. Yes, there are exposed terminals down here, but inside this compartment here, I don't know if you can see with the sunlight and all, but it's all plastic. There is no metal or no exposed metal whatsoever, so there's really no way it's going to short out, so I'm not too worried about that. Also going to the radio is power, and this comes, I should probably see it a little better through here, comes from a 12 volt, well, multiple voltage really, but a regulated adapter that I have set to the full 12 volt setting because the radio will run on 12 volts, but it is also a voltage regulator. I'd run it this way instead of just running a cord out to the radio directly. Pretty much just to try and give it some cleaner current to try and reduce how much noise might be on my transmitted signal. Where it plugs into is this little 3-outlet adapter here. This is something I used for a number of years with a cigarette lighter plug on the end of it. Plug it into the lighter and it was a 3-way splitter. I used it so much that the plug on the end of it just broke, stopped working. So this was a piece of junk. This bike and its fairing has a small pod that goes on the inside of it to hold a stereo system and a couple of speakers, which is kind of cool if you want to listen to tunes going down the road, but typically I don't. So I had a little bit of room to work with. Again, I don't know how well you can see it, but the ignition switch here has all the usual settings, and one of them, like a car, is an accessory position, which we're in right now. That will run, obviously, the accessories, but won't actually turn on the ignition. I have to turn it one more click to turn on the primary ignition like this. But here, the ignition's not on. It's just running whatever accessories I have, like the stereo. except I don't have a stereo. What I did is I cut the plug off of the end of this splitter, which was broken anyway, and I just spliced the wires into the wiring that was going to the stereo for the ground and the switched power off of the accessory position. So when I turn the key to accessory, it provides power to this, and I don't know if you can see or not, but the little light is on, meaning that it has power. And therefore, so does the radio. So I've got a radio, I've got power, and I got an antenna. How do I actually talk to people? Well, that's where the headset comes in. This part here is a push button switch that straps right onto the handlebar grip with a push to talk button built into it. It's a momentary switch, so you push and hold to talk, and then when you release it, you're back on receive. The other part is on the helmet itself. Has this plug that plugs into the rest of it. Has a boom mic here. I stuck it to the outside only because that was where I could find a place where the adhesive would actually stick, and that just goes inside and hangs out right here, right in front of my mouth. And on either side, I'm going to try to find an angle where the light will get in, is a small speaker stuck inside. I actually pulled out a couple of foam pads that go right by the ears, and that made enough room to get these speakers into either side. There's one there. And I don't know if you can see one on the other side right there. So when I'm wearing the helmet, all I have to do is plug these into each other, like so, and I'm connected. I'm now ready to talk and listen on the bike. KJ1H testing. And then this little cover snaps over the entire compartment when I'm actually in motion. Keep stuff inside, keep it out of the weather. The fairing does a fairly good job of that to begin with. And that's about it. Well, it's the perfect day for a ride. Let's go for one.
This is KJ1H testing the motorcycle mobile situation without the bike running. This is KJ1H testing with the motorcycle running and at idle, not in motion at this time. I'm about to change that. Now I'm in motion, doing about 25 miles an hour in third gear. That tachometer is broken, so I don't know how many rows I'm doing, but I'm currently riding through the curves on the road outside my house to get an idea of what the audio sounds like. I am recording this, so I can listen to it and get an audio quality check. This is KJ1H. Probably about a mile from home at this point, and just rolling right along. I am running 5 watts of power, which is high power for this handheld, but pretty much low power for any mobile application. 2.5-way vertical on the back of the bike, so we will see how it sounds after I turn around and come back, which I'm about to do. This is KJ1H.